This is one of the biggest mistakes I could observe during all these years working in simulation. No matter which software you are using, no matter which kind of simulation you are running, if it's static, linear, non-linear, or fatigue. Even for people with FEA master programs, when we are working in the reality, sometimes I saw some of my colleagues increasing thickness of components or upgrading parts to more expensive materials because they found a high value of stress and they wanted to reduce it and secure the design. I used to call this calculitis. Why? When we are working in simulation, we used to forget about all the crucial theory that we learned in university, because as engineers we should keep learning all our life. Of course, hand calculations are not efficient nowadays, but it's crucial that time to time we practice in order to train ourselves with the correct engineering mindset. During this series of meshing in FEA, we were working with this forks structure of a forklift vehicle. We were reviewing how the mesh is affecting our results, how the quality parameters guided us to calibrate our mesh during all the strategies that I showed you, like refining your mesh to trust in your results. In previous video, we were reviewing how to properly carry out a convergence mesh analysis and how to choose the optimal mesh size of our simulation. We obtained this nice graph with an optimal conclusion, right? If you didn't watch that video, I will leave you the link below. Good, but I need to tell you that not always refining the mesh is going to give us accurate results. Today I'm going to use this project to show you one scenario when there is a possibility that we don't find convergence. We can find a graph like this one. Not nice, right? Okay, let's get into it. Hi, Carlos here, and for those of you who don't know me yet, I've been more than 13 years validating real engineering FEA projects across different industries. So I created my validation method to train FEA the way industry actually demands. You will find all the details in the description below. Now let's continue reviewing concepts of that methodology. Okay, before we move to the critical scenario, I wanted to mention one point from previous video. As you could know, when we are working with a static linear analysis, we need to consider how some of the key parameters are going to evolve in our simulation models. How the material of each component is going to affect our conclusions, how the stress value and the safety factor plots are going to be rated to the displacement. Understanding how they are rated between them in a static linear analysis will be crucial to do a correct conclusions from our results. For that reason, before we finish the previous video, I ask you this question. Do you think that the fact that we cross the yield of the material in this converging study it's affecting our conclusions? That is super important since we need to understand what conclusions we are obtaining from our analysis. Of course, I will prepare a video to talk about this topic and you will understand how the stress and the displacement are going to evolve differently if we are running a linear simulation or a non-linear simulation. Okay, let's review the critical scenario of today. Okay, here I have the model that we were using in previous videos. We were working with this design of the forks and we're focused in this corner to explain all the concepts of this series of videos about meshing in FEA simulation. Let me show you the stress plot. Okay, here we can see how this fillet was doing the smooth transition of stress from the horizontal phase to the vertical phase, right? However, I want to show you how was the design when we receive it. I will move to the previous design. Okay, here we have it. It's practically equal, right? Only one little difference. If I zoom in into the corner region, here we have it. Exactly. We don't have any fillet in the corner. Basically, this is what we call in FEA a stress concentrator. The thing is that we receive the model, we agree in the load cases that we were going to analyze, and after a couple of days, I found my colleague telling me that we had to double the thickness of the fork because the stress were high in the component. And then I asked him, is the mesh correct? And he started to run the convergence analysis. As you saw in previous video, he did all of this calculation you can see here in the bottom, 01, 02, 03, etc. For example, we can check one of them, the number 5, let me show you the stress plot. Okay, in this one, if I zoom in, here we can see how the stress is concentrated in the edge of the fork. But we can say that he started to see a good behavior here. We can see that the maximum stress value is slightly higher than the yield of the material. I knew what's going to happen, so I asked him to continue iterating one more time in order to guarantee that the mesh was correct. And then he started, and after seeing the next iteration results, he continued reducing the mesh size. Let me show you the final model that he achieved. Here we have it. As you can see, this is a super accurate mesh, but he was desperate since the results were out of control. He was getting higher and higher stress values in this region, and he didn't know what to say to the customer. Well, this is exactly what I was talking about at the beginning. This is what we call in FEA a numerical singularity. Let me show you the stress plot. Yeah, here we have it. This, and you may think, this is not making any sense, right? Basically, due to the shape of the geometry, the simulation is not converging in that region. Theoretically, the stress values at this kind of shapes will be infinite, since the internal calculation is dividing the force received in the edge into the width of the element. So, if we divide the same force by a smaller element, the stress value will be higher. And if you think about it, in reality, this is not going to happen because we are not going to have force in a single edge. There will be always a minimum fillet due to manufacturing. Okay, let's move to my slide where I'm going to show you the final results and the conclusions. Okay, here we have the values of this model. As we saw in previous video, I'm reporting the von Mises stress values, the number of elements, the degrees of freedom, and the running time, in order to see how, as we reduce the mesh size, we increase the computational cost. Let me show you the graph. Okay, we have this strange shape more similar to a roller coaster than a convergence analysis, right? As we are increasing the mesh size, we are obtaining different results, and there is a moment where the peak is flying away far from the reality, consuming an insane amount of cost and time, as you can see in the last iteration. Therefore, after hours and hours trying to understand what is happening, your question is, which simulation is the correct one? And the answer is exactly none of the simulations is the correct one. So the conclusion is, when you face this kind of geometry in your models, think about this graph and you will save an insane amount of time and energy. This is the geometry that is correct to work with, and we will always recommend this kind of solutions in the designs we receive. Let me know in the comments what you think. As always, we'll continue investigating these interesting topics in next videos. And if you want to make the difference and learn how to actually apply all of this in real engineering projects using my validation method, you can find all the details in the description below. Subscribe if you haven't yet. See you in next simulation.